what's up guys, Jerome here from the Bonsai Supply, and if this is your first time coming across this channel and you like bonsai, you are in luck, because this channel is all about bonsai. We learn together and we improve our skills together as well. Now if you guys are a subscriber already, thank you guys so much for your support and welcome back. Alright, so in today's video I want to teach you a very cool technique which is called root grafting, which is very similar to the thread grafting that we did in a couple weeks ago in the elm video. And then I also did a approach grafting on a juniper last year, and this is very similar. So the approach grafting and the root grafting is pretty much the same thing, but instead of grafting on top of the branches, we just graft down here by the roots. So now the reason why we would want to do that is because we want to improve our root spread. So for instance, maybe we have a section around the trunk that has a flat surface, maybe it doesn't have any roots at the moment. So that's where the root grafting comes into play. Or maybe we want to improve an existing root spread, make it even nicer. That's when we can attach some more root grafts to improve that root spread over time. Now you can pretty much do this technique to any species except for jades or desert roses, because those species don't fuse well together. So you want to use species that fuse really well, but you can pretty much use this on anything else that you can think of. Today I'm going to show you this technique on my Japanese maple. If you may remember, last year I attached it to a board like a tile and then potted it flat into this tray to improve the root spread. Now there are some sections here that are very straight and very unattractive, and that's why I attached this root graft here today. And so the best time to do this is right now in the spring. As you can see, the tree is starting to bud. This whip over here is almost fully pushed out. That's a good time to go ahead and do this root grafting technique. Now keep in mind that the best way to do a root grafting technique is to use whips from the same tree, because then the bark will look exactly the same. Because there's so many different varieties of Japanese maples that it is very hard to find a whip that will have the same trunk color as the existing tree, like the stock tree that you're grafting onto. So that's something very important to keep in mind. So if you want a root graft, maybe remove some cuttings from the existing tree, root those, and then use those as root grafting. It will just look a lot better down the line. Also make sure that you don't use any whips that have been grafted. That will not look good at the end either. So now here are a few things that you will need for this technique. So you will need some putty cut paste. You will need a chisel. I have two different sizes that I'm going to use here, a smaller one and a larger one, and they are kind of shaped in that V, to give me a nice angle. You will also need a sharp grafting knife. You will need some thumbtacks and some small nails. And that's pretty much all you need. Of course you need a little hammer, and there's a few other things that you need along the line, like scissors or maybe wire, and that's really it. So it's a very easy and straightforward technique. So now as you can see, I already attached the grafts here to show you. This is the finished piece. I did 4 grafts on this tree, and once these whips here in the front start to really take off, I can peek under the soil and then see if the root grafts have been fused together with the stock. If they have been fused together, I can cut this top section off, and then the roots will have fused to this stock tree. And that's really pretty much it. So let's get right to it. So first order of business, I like to remove the top layer of the soil with my rake and get all the way down to the layer where I want to attach the root grafts. So this is about good, and then I take a little piece of chalk and just mark the section that I want to graft onto. Here I'm taking one of the whips and I'm just reducing the root ball. I want to get rid of all of the black soil. I want to bare root it. So next up, I just do a little trowel fitting just to make sure that the seedling really fits where I want it to go. Make sure that the roots face the right direction. So I used the larger chisel here to start to make an indentation into the trunk, and this is where the whip will be installed. Now I use the larger chisel because the whip that I use is on the thicker side. So I want to make sure that I make a nice clean cut into the trunk. I even use my grafting knife at this point and just clean out the edges around it. And then next up, I mark the whip with my piece of chalk so I know exactly, how much bark I need to remove. And so I use my grafting knife once again, and then I just remove a fine layer of that fresh bark on top from the seedling. So and then I do a little bit of a trowel fitting. I want to make sure that the seedling sits flush up against with the trunk, and if it fits, I use my thumbtacks to really make sure that the seedling is really pressed up against that opening that I have created. And then last but not least, I want to make sure that the seedling is really firm in there. And then I want to use my putty cut paste and cover the entire grafting section. So I want to make sure that none of the cuts that I have made are exposed to air. I want to make sure that they are all covered by cut paste. Because if they are covered with the cut paste, they will fuse together much faster. If you have any air that can get in there or water, the fresh cut section might actually dry out and your graft will not be successful. And here we are. We have the first graft successfully attached. Now for good practice, I'm going to do another graft. And the section that I chose is the most difficult section on this tree, I think, is that long straight section. So once again, I marked it with my chalk. I'm going to use the center section. I also have the thickest whip that I'm going to graft into that section because I want that section to come out over time and create that pancake kind of look. So once again, I use my chisel and chisel away, make an opening there into the tree. I want to make sure that it's really nice and clean. I use my grafting knife, clean out the edges one more time. And then of course I'm going to reduce the root ball again of another whip. Trowel fitted, and at this point I noticed that the whip, the top section, will be shaded out from the upper canopy, so I used a little wire so that I can bend it away from the upper canopy so it doesn't get shaded out. So here I'm going to do another trowel fitting. So this process is all about trowel fitting and trowel fitting to make sure that we can do the most beautiful root grafts possible. Now this whip was so thick that I actually had to use a little nail and hammer it right through the center, right through the middle of the trunk. So here you can see I'm using my hammer and I'm just hammering this nail right through the center of the entire trunk to really get it in there because I want those sections to fuse together. Now in general, you want to make sure that the grafts are somewhat flush with the trunk, but since this section is so bare and so straight, I wanted to have it just a little bit exposed so that I can have that thickening process of that side happen a lot faster. Now you see those three top roots, those are going to be really beautiful because once they start to pull into that direction, once that graft has taken, it will create a really beautiful waxy roots into that direction. So once again, I'm going to cover, of course, that section with the putty cut paste. And again, I want to make sure that none of the cut openings are exposed to either air or water because if it dries out, like I said before, the grafts will not be successful. And if you let water get in there, the grafts could potentially start to rot away from the inside of the trunk. And this is how you successfully graft seedlings onto your root grafts. And so I did 3 here, I did 4 in total. And as you can see, I'm turning this tray around here for you. You can see they're attached on all different directions. And I think it's going to look really good when it's all done. Now, of course, I'm going to cover up these fresh root grafts with fresh bonsai soil. And I'm going to use our all-purpose bonsai soil mixture for that. And just make sure I work out the air pockets once again, like always with my chopstick. Really work the soil in between the roots, and I am good to go. So as you can see, it was really easy to attach all of these root grafts. I will of course do a few more over the next few years, but I don't want to have too many root grafts on here at the same time. So 4 is enough for right now. I'll let these fuse, and then the next spring I'll come in and do some more root grafts on this side, do a few more in between, and then over the next 3 to 4 years I will have the entire base rooted, and then I'm setting myself up for success. In the meantime, I'm just going to let this sacrifice branch continue to grow until this trunk has thickened up more. I want to have a Japanese maple that has a really thick trunk. I don't want it to be a super tall tree, but I want to have a thick trunk. I want to have movement in there and a really nice, that pancake root spread. And now a lot of people always say, wow, that root spread doesn't look very natural. But it is a very natural occurring thing, that flat pancake root spread. Like for instance, if you live in the United States, I'm pretty sure you have an oak tree somewhere nearby or a crepe myrtle, and they're notorious for doing that pancake root spread naturally on their own. And Japanese maples do that all the time as well, so it's very naturally occurring, and I want to have that cool spread. Now, of course, as always, if you have any more questions on root grafting or anything else considering bonsai, leave your comment down below in the comment section. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.